We know for a fact that Marvel executives listen to online critics because they've gone so far as to even address it in some of their shows, but in the past, how they've been antagonistic towards the fan base, it seems like they're trying to turn over a new leaf, so to speak, because when the first trailer for Ironheart was released, you can see on YouTube it has a huge like to dislike ratio, 216,000 likes to 514,000 dislikes. Well, this was 4 weeks ago, and they decided to release another trailer because they needed to release several trailers within the span of a month to remind everyone that this is a show that is in fact happening. The second trailer for it, though, it's received a lot better. It's still not well received. You can see it has 41,000 likes to 48,000 dislikes. Still a ratio, but not as severe as the previous one. And one of the things I noticed about this trailer when compared to the first one is it seems to address a lot of the criticisms that people had with the first trailer. Whereas in the first one, people were just telling Riri Williams how much of a genius she is and how she's just out to try to make herself something iconic and try to like prove herself and other things like that. This trailer seems to deviate a little bit from that, where it's more about her wanting to do something good and be a hero and help people and other things like that. A complete 180 from the impression that we got from the first trailer. And I couldn't help but notice that. And I felt that this was Marvel almost trying to listen to the criticism and put out something else in order to kind of, quell some of those concerns that people had. It doesn't seem like it worked out too well because this seems like a project that's essentially dead on arrival, but hey, I mean, at least progress, right? Not perfection. And I think a reason why they're trying to make this work as opposed to some of the other projects where they're like, well, let's just rip off the Band-Aid and just get it over with, because I think they actually have plans for this character in the future of the MCU. Dominique Thorne even addressed that recently, saying that there's a part for her in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday. Now, the level of her involvement remains to be seen with so many people cast for Avengers Doomsday. I'm thinking many of them will probably just be one-scene cameos at best. It's not as if they're going to have a huge involvement in everything. There's probably going to be what we saw with Avengers Endgame, a core group of characters that you follow. Pretty big cast, but still it's just going to follow a group of characters, and then everyone else is essentially just going to be a cameo, maybe somewhat of an extended cameo. Is Ironheart going to be in Avengers Doomsday? Dominique Thorne teases that she may make her return as the character sooner than fans might think. After nearly 3 years of absence, Dominique Thorne is officially set to make her return to the MCU with Ironheart, a Disney Plus series focused on her eponymous character. However, once the project is over, fans are wondering if the heroine will be benched for another 3 years. If not, as Avengers Doomsday sets up the beginning of the end of the multiverse saga. Yet things have not been all doom and gloom for Ironheart. When speaking with the Disney Plus series, Dominique Thorne was asked by the direct if there was any plans for her to return to the role during the events of Avengers Doomsday. While she didn't give a straight answer about it, she was going to appear in the film. She did tease that the odds may be in her favor for a cameo. And like I said, that's pretty much what I think a lot of these characters that they've announced for the project are essentially just going to be cameos. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe she's not confirming one way or the other because it's supposed to be a surprise. They want to actually keep some of it close to the chest. I'm talking Marvel, that is. But we'll just have to wait and see, or maybe just the contract has not been finalized for her, so we don't know what they're going to do. But one of the things about this is because this is the next big project that Marvel has released. It's going to be about a week or so before the show comes out. And this is going to be the next big thing before the next movie, which is Fantastic Four First Steps, which is set to come out about a month from now. And so far this year, the momentum has not been in the favor for Marvel projects. Even ones that are well received, like Thunderbolts, don't seem to hang on to the box office and have a pretty steep drop off during its second weekend, and really just kind of floundered, even though people seem to like it. It seems like the general audiences just do not have an appetite for Marvel projects anymore. And with Fantastic Four First Steps, I'm not sure what the budget is for it, but given the scope of the project, it's probably somewhere around the $250 million range, because that seems kind of reasonable for what Marvel projects has been spending on their stuff lately. Factor in marketing costs. This is a movie that probably needs to make at a bare minimum $700 million at the global box office in order to break even. Most likely closer to the $800 million figure, but I'm being generous towards Marvel on this one since I don't know for sure. Let's just say it's $700 million. And while they're saying it's projected to make it $125 to $136 million domestically during its opening weekend, that seems like a pretty solid start for it. Now, that's not a fantastic start by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to Marvel projects, especially ones of this scale. It does seem like it's a promising start. Like audiences are at the bare minimum willing to give it a chance, something that we didn't see with other projects like Thunderbolts or even the Marvels. But whether or not it'll actually hang on and become a success, it all depends on audience's reaction to it. If the movie turns out to be fantastic, pun intended, well then perhaps it'll actually hold on to a box office and have some legs underneath it. But if the movie is just kind of meh, if people come out of it and say like the movie is good, not great, but good, then people are like, okay, then maybe I'll watch it when it comes out on streaming. What you need is you need to have such an overwhelmingly positive reaction to this movie that people almost have like that Deadpool and Wolverine effect where it's like, oh, well, then I just have to see it. Because that's what was coming out of that movie is people were just like, oh, you have to see Deadpool and Wolverine. The movie was so good. And people went and saw it and the movie became a $1 billion hit. So that's kind of what they need when it comes to Fantastic Four first steps. And right now I say it's especially for Fantastic Four, they need that reaction. Because you have Jurassic World Rebirth coming out the same month. It's a few weeks earlier. And then you also have Superman, which is more of a direct competition, coming out 2 weeks before this. And if Superman turns out to be a good movie that a lot of people like, well, then it's going to be competing with that. So not only does it have to be a big enough response in order to attract people into theaters to come see it, but it also has to be a big enough response that gets people to see this over Superman. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens when it comes to the release of this. But personally, if I was just the bet on this over under $700 million, I'd probably say under, even with this box office projections for the opening weekend. We've seen with Marvel movies, even decent ones, still have a pretty steep drop off, and with all the stuff working against them, I don't see this movie turning out to be profitable. But one thing is for sure, if Marvel is in fact listening to the fan base, then maybe that's a good sign. But I think with a lot of these projects, they're too far in the pipeline for them to actually have done anything meaningful in order to fix things. Perhaps Avengers Doomsday will be the first big movie that they release that they're actually trying to understand why fans have kind of abandoned the franchise in recent years, and them trying to turn over a new leaf. Bringing back Robert Downey Jr. may be them doing just that. Personally, I don't like the decision, but it's a very popular decision to bring him back in this as a part of Doctor Doom. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm not holding up much hope for Fantastic Four, and I think Ironheart is essentially dead on arrival. But I mean, progress, not perfection, right? But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.